Hi, my name is Vanda Kogan. I am presenting my individual project via YouTube. Initially, I had got a permission from the professor stating that I will be presenting my individual project via research, but due to unforeseen personal life situation that I have to change a little bit. And today is Saturday, April 17, 2021. And I chose a topic from chapter 5, designing training. And why did I choose this subject? What intrigued me and what did I learn? And first of all, I learned how to create training. Just reading a chapter, it really made me so interested because I've been in the work field for 25 to 30 years. I worked with different organization and non-profit organization as well as profit organization. And when I sit back and look at it, and I can see where all the trainings failed in my previous experiences and how they could have been helped it or fixed it. And what are the steps that one would take to make a training effective, and how would I would prepare a training for an organization. And we live in a competitive world, and it's very important that we keep up with the changes that takes place, not only in the United States, but especially in a business world. It's a global stage. We are competing with um, with other nations, and it is so important for whether it's an organization, whether it's some non-profit organization or a profit organization, that success of any organization depends on a quality of workforce. And it's a very key thing, whether we work with children or whether we work in the hospital setup or whether we work in a restaurant, whether you are a teacher or a professor at the university, you take any sort of field in this world, and training is so important. And in order to expect a good quality, people need to be offered a good training. And that's where many organizations fail when it comes to, because some couple of companies that come to my mind is Kodak, the first company which came out with a film and a camera, and today they are out of business. And just partly the technology has changed and outgrown, and they somehow missed an idea how to keep up with the technology change in this world. And the other one, I'm looking at Sears company. It's the biggest store and it's 100 years old. And just a couple of years ago, they decided to close it down because they could not keep up with the competitive world that is Amazon and online businesses that come up with. And it's so training is very important, whether you have resources, you have a lot of money, you have a lot of resources, and you have all the ideas for a great organization, for a great business. But if you do not have well qualified people who are supposed to run day-to-day events, and the company will fail. It doesn't matter how much money you have and what kind of technology you have. And with everything else, if the training is not done properly, if you're not trained, the employees who work in a company, the company will fail. So for me, I've been on the work field for 25 to 30 years, and I have worked in different organizations. And at the moment, currently, I'm working at the foster care home. One of the very strict requirement, it's a state-run home because we take care of the children from age 10 to 18, and there are a lot of policy changes, and we have to keep up with the minimum standard that is given to us by the government. So there is constantly we have to have a training for the staff. If there is new policy comes up, if there is some kind of a change in a documentation, that previously we were doing something different, now the state decided, no, that's not going to work, we have to change this documentation. So immediately you have to call for the train, and you have to train all your employees to make sure that they understand and they are on top of it, in order for us to run as an organization, run with the keep up with all the changes that is being provided to us, and at the same time to do the best that we can do to serve the population that we are working with. And number two is the licensing is very important. If we do not have a minimum standard put in place, your organization will be shut down by the government. So it is so important. And I really learned a lot from this particular chapter. And it's just a very simple thing, like, there are three phases that the book talks about. And it's one is a pre-training in phase one, and how important it is to help the employees before they come for a training. They need to know what they are getting into, why this training is so important, what is so different from the previous training. So the first and foremost is the management team has to motivate the employees to make sure that they're motivated to attend this training, which is upcoming training. So it's very, very important that motivation is the key, because if you walk into a training, you just are not prepared for whatever that they're going to learn, you will never learn. So motivation is the key for the employees. You can bring in a best trainer, you can have a best seating arrangement, you can have a best technology, you can have all sorts of resources. But as an employee, if you're not willing to receive what is being taught, it will not work. So the pre-training is a key important to have a very successful training program in any organization. So that plays a huge thing. And while the management team prepares the employees to attend this upcoming training, there are other things that needs to be looked into it. And those are the things are what kind of trainer are we going to bring in? And the trainer needs to really know what's the weaknesses and the strength of the organization. Where do they really need a training? Because the entire population of the employees are not same, because they all are different age group, different ethnics and different culture, different language. There is so many things plays in an organization. So it's very important to understand the population before we can present the training. So the trainee has to be well versed about the organizational background and where they are coming from and where they want to go. Number three is like, the number three is so crucial. What is the goal of the organization? If you don't have a goal, the training will not be successful, because you need to know where you're heading. So you need to know why this training is important. What is that something that we have not done previously that we are going to present it in this training, and how we are going to move forward in the coming days or months and years, how to move forward. The business of organization always have to be moved forward. You don't want to get stuck in the things. So these are some of the very important pre-training programs that needs to be done before we present a training. And all this logistic has to be worked out very clearly. Phase two is learning event, because it's so important. Once if you gather all the information from the organization, what kind of a population are we teaching, and what is their weaknesses, and what is their strength, and what kind of information that they need, that we need to hand out. And once the management prepares the employees for the training, now you have to come to the phase two of learning event. Where do you want? You want in-house training or out-house training? Do you just take it out? And I highly recommend for any foster care home staff on the management do not have a training in-house, because there is so many things are happening, because the foster care home that I work is a 24/7, and the children needs to be watched 24 hours. And when you're having a in-house training, there is a lot of disruption that goes on. The children constantly knocking on the meeting rooms, and there is something that the emergency takes place, and everybody has to drop in the middle of the training and to go and attend and take care of the situation. So it will be very highly recommended, please try to make it a outhouse training, because that way you are more focused, as the chapter talks about, and you're more into the training. So there is not, you have to eliminate all the distractions that takes place in the training in order for training to be successful. And the seating arrangement, how do you want, what kind of a room, what kind of a technology you want, what kind of a learning that the employees need. Is it going to be a lecture, or is it going to be a PowerPoint presentation, or is it going to be open floor, just talk and discuss and see where, and guide them through to the channel direction and things like that. There are so many mini skill things that the training is involved in to be successful. And the most important thing is the lesson plan, or the training curriculum is very, very important in the beginning of the training, that the staff need to know what are the timings, what are we covering for, what subject are we talking about, and they need to have that handout. It's very important. They need to know what they are going to go through next 1 day or 3 days, or is it a 5-day training, whatever they may be. They can be mentally well prepared in order to be learning in a situation and things like that. So it is very important to have a very, very important to have a curriculum for the training. You just don't walk in the training and pick up pieces and just start talking. That will not work. First, you have to present the case, why we are doing the training, and what this training will be focusing on, and how we are going to move forward with it. The last phase is the post training. Once, if you have completed the training, you just don't drop the ball. You have to follow up. You have to get on with the employees, and just to see how the training is helping and how to make it an improve. Are we implementing everything that we have learned in this training? And it is very important, because in my personal work experience, we go for training every 3 months or every 6 months, and nobody is there to follow up. Are we implementing anything that we have learned? And again, after 3 months or 6 months into it, we are talking about the same subject matter over and over again. What happens? And some of the employees gets too bored with this, because we are keep on talking the same thing after 2 years into it, and you're talking the same subject matter. We have not achieved any training change in the organization. So it's very important that the post training, that evaluate what we have learned, evaluate and see, are we implementing everything that we are learning? Or if there is downfall, what is causing us not to follow what we have learned in the thing? So it is so important. And the training is a very crucial thing. As I said in the beginning, it doesn't matter which organization that you're working for, whether it's a school or the university or the medical field or even an oil company. Training is fundamental for any organization, any business to be successful. So you have to have a very good training in order to foresee that your organization moves forward. And this chapter has been wonderful learning experience for me. And personally, in the future, I am majoring in psychology but minoring in a human resource management. I would highly recommend for people to take this course, because it doesn't matter which field that you choose at the end of the day, and you will be working with some organization, and it's any organization that you go to, and you will have a training. And it's very important to learn how to, not only to present a training, and how to learn from the training. And this is a great topic for me personally, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.